What's up, all you weight weenies? I'm a pretty big dude. I'm 6'2", 220 pounds. I prefer to be comfortable in the backcountry versus cut weight getting there. But if you are one of those guys who likes to cut off his toothbrush and weighs and measures every little thing that goes into your pack, and you don't really care much about comfort, I've got the backpack for you. The Stone Glacier. This has been a process that I've started 2 years ago, testing these in real world situations out hunting, including packing meat out. To start with, everybody wants to know how much these weigh, me included. So we're going to start with this Stone Glacier. This is a COL 4800 pack. It's not the biggest pack, and it is on the X-Curve frame. The X-Curve frame from Stone Glacier is made more for taller torso people, which I am, and so that's why I went with this frame. This pack weighs in at 4 pounds 8 ounces, which should be the lightest pack of the group. I do not have the water bottle holder on it or any pouches. The water bottle holder and the pouch don't weigh very much. It's kind of how I ran it. I didn't care for the way Stone Glacier attaches their hip pockets to the hip belt or the water bottle holder to the hip belt. If weight is all you're concerned about, Stone Glacier is known for their lightweight backpacking backpacks, and that is what they focus on, is a lightweight backpack. That being said, this one, in my opinion, for me, was the least comfortable pack to run, so I ended up running it the least amount of time. However, I did run it quite a bit last year. I really like the bag configuration. It is a somewhat of a U-shaped zipper, which I really enjoy for packing, especially on day hunts. I use this a lot for day hunting. I personally use a bigger bag for day hunting because, as Dan can attest to, I bring a lot of different layers and I layer up, layer down a lot. So most of the volume in my pack ends up getting eaten up by different layers that I'm carrying to stay warm and comfortable in the backcountry. So what you have here is one big bag. This zipper doesn't go all the way down, or it does on the side here. So this zipper goes all the way down on one side, but not the other. So you can get into it. You can get stuff from the bottom of the pack if you need it. And it makes it to where when I'm packing a bag, especially for day hunt, I usually end up laying it down on the ground like this, stuffing my stuff in, and then zipping it closed. The one feature on this bag, and with most Stone Glaciers, is that they put the spotter pocket inside the main pocket, which saves on a lot of weight. However, it makes it a little bit more cumbersome to pull your spotter out, put it back away as you're running and gunning through the woods. But it does have a dedicated spotter spot, which kind of expands on that side of the pack, and it does have a little bit of a divider inside. I did find that it fit a decent sized spotter well, but like again, you have to unzip your pack to get it out and put it back away. Can be a little bit cumbersome at times. It also has a outside pocket, which I love having this outside type pocket on my pack. I usually end up putting toilet paper and anything I'm gonna need quickly in there. It also has this top zipper pouch, which I end up putting like any binocular attachment, that sort of thing. Maybe some gloves up there. Other things I'm going to need throughout the day, but I want to be able to get to quickly. I put it in there. On this other side, this is opposite of where the spotting pouch goes, which is most backpack manufacturers do this. They put the spotter on one side, and then they have a space for you to put your tripod on the other. This works really well for a tripod. You could also stick the butt of your rifle in there and strap it in as well. Part of keeping it light, they only put 2 clip compression straps, and then your bottom strap is just a pull tab type buckle. It doesn't clip on and off. This does have a meat shelf built in, as do the other ones. To get this off, you undo the load lifter straps like you have to on most packs. Pop the bag off the frame. You've got the 2 clips on either side. And then this compression in the middle. This does have an integrated meat shelf here. See if I can get her undone. And so this is really nice, and the fabric they use for their meat shelf is this X-Pack material, which isn't super abrasion resistant, but it's lighter. However, it's a little bit noisier. It does clean off a lot better than Cordura when it gets bloody. So I really like that material that they used. You've got a nice meat shelf here. Stick your meat in here, tighten these down. You fold your bag back over your meat, reattach your compression straps on the sides, and I do like how the buckles right here. This one does not move, only this one. Buckle in all your buckles. And then once you compress that, it makes for a secure load. Now on this as well, you are able to, without like undoing the meat, you can just undo these buckles and you still have access to the contents of your pack if that's what you want to do. You could throw your meat straight into your bag. I do that a fair amount of time. Again, the back of this pack is this X-Pack material, which does clean up very well. It's also more waterproof than the Cordura, and that helps keep your gear from getting bloody while you're packing meat. So you have this nice waterproof material between your gear that's in your pack and the meat shelf if that's how you're packing your meat out. So I do really like that feature. I like some features on all the packs, and I wish I could mix and match the features and put it into one pack. That would be the perfect pack for me, but unfortunately the different companies do things just a little bit different, and I like things from each pack, but it's not integrated in one specific pack. That's why I'm giving you all the information so you can make your decision based on what's most important to you. This does not have a water bladder pouch. It does have these little tabs here that you can attach some water bladders to. I end up just throwing my bladder in here. I don't run the tube. I run some sort of a collapsible water bladder and then a Nalgene on my hip belt, and that's what works best for me. So you do have the option to hang it there. It hangs close to your back, which is where you want the heaviest part of your pack. You want that closest to between your shoulder blades as possible. And your water is generally the most heavy thing you carry, so it's nice to have it right there. So the things I didn't care much for on this pack was the frame itself. I did not feel like this frame was as comfortable as some of the other packs that I tested. Again, this is the ELKSHAPE pack. It is made more for taller torso individuals like myself. That's why I picked this particular frame over the crux frame. The crux frame is more of a straight back frame. I've got more of a lumbar and I'm taller. I talked to the guys at Stone Glacier. They said if your torso is 20 inches and above, go with the X curve. If it's below that, go with the crux. So as you can kind of see, these pads aren't as cushy and big as some of the other ones. This is part of how they cut the weight and why this pack is so light. The lumbar pack is the same. It's not as big as some of the other ones. I found that this pack kind of rubbed, when it was on me, it kind of rubbed a weird spot on my hip, especially when I'm wearing a belt. So if you couple this with the Stone Glacier pants that have the integrated buckle, you have less chance of that happening. But I did have it rub a little bit when I was wearing a belt, and it just wasn't quite as comfortable, which is why I ran this one the least amount, because comfort for me is more important than saving a couple of ounces on the pack itself. However, I did use this a significant amount of time on day hunts with lighter weight, and it was comfortable. It is made in the USA. They do make really good products that will probably last your lifetime. So it is a good option if weight is particularly important to you. The other thing I would recommend is when you are looking at a pack, if at all possible, go and try them on with weight. Whether it's a showroom or whatever, walk around, see if it feels comfortable in the store, because if it doesn't feel comfortable in the store, no amount of hiking with it is going to make it better. It's just going to get worse. So try them all on if you can, and then decide which one is going to be the most comfortable for you. However, if you're like, you know what, I just need the lightest pack out there, Stone Glacier is probably going to be that pack. The reason I didn't like their hip pockets is they have this two strap system. The hip pocket slides on there, but then that hip pocket moves back and forth. And I didn't really like that feature. I want that pocket to be in the exact spot I put it, so it's out of the way and it rubs the least amount when I'm walking. So I didn't like that feature. The other thing that I ended up doing, I put one hip belt pocket on one side, and then I put the water bottle pocket on the other side, and had the same issue. That water bottle kept sliding around, and I didn't care for it much there. So I ended up taking this strap and I put the water bottle pocket there, it still ended up flopping around a little bit, which I didn't care for, but it was back far enough that it didn't inhibit my walking abilities. I wasn't banging on it with my arm or my gun or my bow, and I could still reach it with my hand. That is the Stone Glacier COL 4800. Great option, especially if you're looking for the lightest weight pack possible. Thanks for watching. This is the Stone Glacier backpack. If you are in the market for the lightest backpack on the market today, Stone Glacier is probably going to be the one for you. Next video to drop will be on the initial ascent. Please subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll catch you on that video.